Hello everyone, I'm David and welcome back to another first aid skills video. In last week's video, I showed you what it looks like to do a complete 5 cycles or 2 minutes of CPR and including everything up to that. So in this week, I'm going to go over the first half of last week's scenario. So all the way from coming up and initially seeing the person up to but not including the actual compressions and CPR. I'll cover that next week, just so this video isn't too long with explaining a bunch of stuff. So let's get started. If you remember from last week's video, the first thing I did was came up, and if you've noticed, I came up and I did a quick little glance around to see what was going on. So the whole purpose of this is to look around to make sure that the scene is safe for you. You are number one priority for safety, so you always want to look around. If you remember from a while ago, it was fire wire, gas, glass. Look for anything that can hurt you. And also while you're doing that scan, look to see if there's any other injured people around or if there's any bystanders that may have witnessed it or that can help you out. Luckily for me, in my scenario, I had 2 people that were able to help me out, which I'll get to a little later. But if you're unlucky and you're on your own, you're going to be doing this all alone. So after I looked around, saw that everything was safe, I walked up to the person, introduced myself, talked into both ears, and tapped the chest. So if you don't remember, it kind of looked like this. Hello, my name's David. I'm trained in first aid. Do you need my help? Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And I got no response. So with that, you had the physical touch on the shoulders, because maybe they were just sleeping and then they'll wake up. You also had talking into both ears, one ear and the other ear, because we don't know if this person might be deaf in one ear and just can't hear you, and so you want to cover both of those ears. The introduction of your name and that you're trained in first aid is very important nowadays, especially since everybody, when anything happens, has phones out and is recording. So it looks a little bit more professional. You describe that you know what you're doing and you get your name up there and asking the person for consent to touch them and deal with them, even if they don't respond, you still ask for that consent. And so to the public, it looks a lot better. So after that, I came up, I did the head tilt chin lift, which was 2 fingers under the chin, on the forehead, tilt it back. And what this does is this opens up the airway. So if a tongue is flopped back and blocking their throat, it moves that out of the way so they can breathe. And then I did what we call look, listen, and feel. So you're looking at the chest for chest rise and fall. You're listening for breathing sounds, and you're feeling on your cheek for any breaths that might be coming out. So we want to do this for a minimum of 5 seconds in case they just take really long breaths, a maximum of 10 seconds so we aren't just sitting here forever and wasting time that we could be using helping this person. So we did our head tilt chin lift, look, listen, feel, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And didn't feel any breaths, didn't hear anything, didn't see any chest rise and fall. So this is when I turned to the bystanders that I had. I went, you in the plaid shirt, I need you to get me an AED and a first aid kit. And you in the shorts, I need you to call 911 and come back to me when you've done so. So with the first aid kit and AED, you always want that because it gives you the tools that you may need to deal with this person. And the 911, you always want 911 called because as first aiders, there's only so much we can do on our own. And so we want that professional help on the way to help us. So if you noticed, I said I need you to come back to me and when this is done, because when someone goes off to call 911, they may or may not do it. They may just kind of leave and not come back. But if you tell them to come back, if they don't come back, you can assume that maybe they didn't do it, so you can send someone else to do it. but if they do come back, they can tell you that it is done, so you know that they're on the way. And you notice when I got descriptive about stuff they're wearing, so it was the plaid shirt and the shorts, you don't just want to point at a crowd and be like, I need you to call 911 and I need you to get me a AED and a first aid kit. Because people may not know that you're talking to them, and they could assume that you were just talking to someone else, and someone else will take care of that for you. So you want to be very descriptive of what you want done for you, and you want to be very descriptive about who you're talking to, so that they know it's their job to do it. So yeah, if you're on your own and you come up, you have to call 911 on your own. If you need to go get yourself an AED and a first aid kit, do that as fast as you can. You don't want to leave this personal for too long. So call 911, run off, get a first aid kit and AED if you need it, come back, and then start dealing with the problem in front of you. So that's all I'm going to cover for this week's video. Next week, I'm going to get into the chest compressions, the breathing, all that kind of technical stuff. This video is getting a little long, so we're going to save that for next week. Thanks for tuning in for this week's video, and I hope you all come in for next week's video. See you then. Thank you.